A quick look around my Amblecote allotment. These are my potatoes in polypots. The nets to keep the tops up, as the longer the tops stay upright, the better the potatoes turn out. A few beetroot, garlic, algar beans at the back, behind those celery, turnips, sweet corn, lettuce. I've gone over the top again with that. These are my alderman peas. I've had to rig up a bit of a Heath Robinson thing, as the pigeons are determined to land on top and eat as many as they can. I have my broad beans. There's quite a lot on there, ready to pick off. Some of my runner beans have actually made it to the top of the canes. Parsnips are a little bit sparse, but after many sowings I've almost got a complete row. Carrots have recovered very well. I had to re-sow these because the slugs hit them all, but they're doing alright now. I have to put these canes in place. It stops the wind blowing the frames away, and it also helps as a location when I want to put the covers back on after I've weeded. Potatoes in the ground. The only reason the red barrier netting's round is because I was having trouble with a fox. He just seemed to have a liking for 3 potatoes that were in this front row here. Now these are my potatoes in drums, and these potatoes are the same variety as these here, but you can see from the colour in the leaves that the high nitrogen and potash feed that I give these does pay dividends. I'm hoping eventually to have enough drums to stop growing potatoes in the ground. It's getting a little bit too much like hard work for me now. My flower area, lupins past the best. Dahlias are now coming into flower. Chrysanths, gladioli, my anemones, herbs. I do like the colour on these anemones. I've found now that if you plant them in the spring, they flower now. If you plant them and leave them in the ground, they flower in the spring. These are my stump end carrots. They take a few weeks to mature, so planted them April. My first attempt at these large onions. I've got mixed feelings over these. Some have grown very, very well, but I had a problem with them splitting like this one here. From what I can read up about it, a cold spell after I planted them in here is the most likeliest cause of the problem. I'm not all lost, some are quite good, so fingers crossed. Lots of questions to ask at the gardening club, and I'm all fired up to have a go next year. These are my long carrots. These seem to be doing alright. Onion sets. And these are Robinson's Mammoth, and they're not doing too bad. A couple have gone to seed, but apart from that, the rest of them are quite good. They certainly taste good anyway, so they're not wasted. This is my brassica area. It's 30 foot wide and 16 foot deep. All my brassicas have at least 2 foot spacings, 2'6" between the rows. Last year they grew so close together, even with this kind of spacing, it was very difficult to water. So this year I've taken a row out and given me a little bit more space. I'm not much for mulching. I prefer to keep my ground nice and clean, remove all the dead leaves, and most years slugs are not a problem. This is the area where last year my potatoes were grown. I do feed heavily for my potatoes, and I know that brassicas are heavy feeders, so I supplement with fertilisers. And since I've been using Perca, I have found a big difference in the size of the brassicas. Perca is a high nitrogen feed, and it's also a good help to prevent our old friend clubroot, which seems to be the scourge of quite a few of these older. Finally, this is my homemade greenhouse, tomato plants. I was late getting these off to a start, but I seem to be doing alright now. Just a few leeks that I'm playing about with for our allotment show that we've decided to hold again this year. Instead of wasting the border, I've made a small raised bed. I've got some beetroot and kohlrabi in there. The gutworms had a couple of my runner beans, so I'm hoping these will hurry up and replace them.